if we hadn't had financialization. You see unionization, there's a yellow line, that's the biggest thing. Labor share of income dropped about 6% because of the decline in unionization. Unionization is a big driver. On the other hand, the increased education in the labor force was, that is the red line on the bottom, college was driving in the other direction. Right? But financialization and computer investment is our stand-in for the normal explanation, which is skill-biased technological change. Firms change their, the way they organize production, and so income to labor goes down. They're about the same size. They produce the same kind of cumulative need to end, but I've got another one. It's okay, I'll just do it. You get the same kind of pattern for officers' compensation. You got the same kind of pattern, only it's weaker for earnings inequality. So Tim was sort of right, it's weaker. The thing I want you to take away is there are various types of systemic risk. Right? One is the fragility of the economy in the short run. Right? Another, which I think we should take equally seriously, is abandoning our commitment to thinking about the economy as producing income and quality of life for its citizens. Thank you.
Don, many thanks.
Sure.
Our next speaker is Bob Puckett.
I got yours up.
Oh, it's up. Oh, excellent.
Yep, exactly.
It starts. You have to start. How do you mean you push a start button, or? Excellent, thanks. All right, so thanks for bearing with us. So I've been over at the Cornell Law School for about 8 years now, and after that 8 years of experience, I sort of came to promise myself two things, and I'm going to break both of those promises today, unfortunately. So some of you might know Cornell Law School is sort of a hotbed of so-called empirical legal studies, which basically just means you do statistics on legal propositions. You try to corroborate sort of truisms or things that are sort of taken for granted as true in the legal academy. These are often very, very important and interesting papers, but they don't really lend themselves well to sort of workshops, right? Because inevitably, after the person gives the talk, gives the paper, the Q&A ends up sort of being filled with all sorts of questions like, well, I noticed that, you know, on page 6, you didn't refer to the least squares method. Why didn't you use that? And somebody else says, cell number 7 on page 18, is that misplaced? Is that decimal point misplaced? And so they don't make for really good discussions. And so I sort of, you know, in a workshop, you want things to be sort of lively, and you want there to be all sorts of sort of lively back and forth, and you don't want just the sort of technicians to sort of dominate the entire conversation. So I told myself I'll never do that kind of thing in a workshop, at least, even though, of course, it's terrifically important work. The other thing I told myself I would never do, and it might show, is do a PowerPoint presentation, because, of course, over our workshops over at Cornell, I can't tell you how many times I've heard the question, "Where's my slide? Where I can't?" And they're sort of going too far forward and then try to go. I hope I'm doing that. So I'm going to break both of those promises in a certain sense today. I apologize, in the sense that I'm going to be presenting something in the way of an empirical paper, but I'm hoping it's not going to be the kind of typical Cornell Law School empirical.